Alright, the 5 tips to pass Ranger School is to be in adequate shape, obey the packing list, make sure it's 100% accurate, don't fall asleep, be a team player, and don't quit. And stay till the end, and I'll give one bonus tip. I went through a little over 10 years ago and was a first time go, made it all the way through without recycling. So I wanted to share some of my knowledge. I get asked a lot by people, hey, what does it take to get through? How did you make it through? And any advice? I've had friends that have gone through after me that wanted to know, about the packing list, the physical aspect of it, the other tests.
Tip number 1, be in adequate shape.
The physical standard when you arrive is 49 push-ups, 59 sit-ups, 5 mile in 40 minutes, and 6 chin-ups. So before you even arrive, make sure you can at least do that. That's going to happen the first morning you're there. And practice it. Your push-ups and sit-ups, pull-ups, run. With the run, there's going to be a group of guys starting off, and there's going to be someone in the very end who's got a different color vest on than everybody else, and don't let that guy pass you or you fail. So you can basically just run at the pace, stay with the pack, and don't quit. Goes back to that other tip of not quitting. As long as you don't quit the run and you stay within the pack and that last guy doesn't pass you, then you're going to pass the run. Push-ups, very strict on the push-ups. I mean, your body has to maintain the proper form all the way up and down. Your body has to move as one unit, and you have to go all the way into your elbows and your 45 degrees, and then back up, walk out. That's one. All the way down, elbows, 45 degrees, walked out. And the sit-ups, pretty self-explanatory. I believe it was the hands behind the head, fingers interlocked, elbows have to come past your knees. Covered the run. 6 chin-ups. That's underhand, chin above the bar, without swaying or moving. I actually think you can do it either way, front or back, but you can't sway. A lot of times there's a guy standing right in front of you, and as you go up and down, you can't touch him or he'll make you drop and start over. So be in adequate shape. Make sure you can pass the physical test. Push-ups, sit-ups, run, pull-ups.
Tip number 2, packing list.
Packing list. You get the packing list before you go, and that is a big killer if you don't have every single item on there. There's over 100 items on the packing list, so make sure you look that over thoroughly and have everything you need starting day one, because the first thing you're going to do each phase is lay out all your stuff, and they're going to go over that packing list, and if you're missing one thing, you're going to get reamed out for it, possibly even recycled if you're missing a few things. But follow that packing list closely and make sure you have everything on there, and don't bring anything extra. There's a lot of there's this gray area on the very bottom, optional. If it's not on there as required, don't bring it.
Tip number 3, don't fall asleep.
This may sound dumb, but there's going to be a lot of scenarios where it's going to be very easy to fall asleep. First night, you're going to be on fire watch or fire guard. Somebody is. Every night you're sleeping, somebody's going to be on fire guard. So make sure you don't ever get caught falling asleep. Fire guard, you will get recycled, maybe even get sent home. When you're out in the field and you do set up your patrol base and it's your turn to pull security, better not be caught falling asleep out there. Recycle or go home. Anytime you're going to move different barrack locations each phase, and it's so easy to lay your head back. You say, I'm going to catch a few Z's for a minute, and they catch you sleeping. You're most likely going to get recycled, if not sent home, if it's a big failure.
Tip number 4, be a team player.
Every phase you have to pass your patrols and you have to pass peer evaluation. So everybody ranks each person in your platoon, and the lowest guy is going to get recycled. It may be more than one, but it's like the bottom one, maybe bottom two. But you want to make sure that you're cool with everybody, because at some point you could get the lowest vote and get sent home. So how do you do that? Just don't be a dick to anybody. Try and befriend people. Try and help people. When I first got there, I came from a normal infantry unit. I was not from Ranger Battalion, and I remember one of the first things we had to do was sew our names on our rucks, cat eyes, and I didn't even really know how to sew really, so I asked one of the Ranger Bat guys to help me figure that out. And then also tying knots. You gotta tie everything down. Wasn't real familiar with that either, so I asked, hey buddy, can you help me out real quick? And he did. Well, guess what? Later on, a couple of weeks, there was a time where that guy, ate all his MRE and was still hungry. I gave him an extra cracker or something, or he needed help carrying his gear, and so I helped him carry some of this stuff for a little bit. So, help people out so that they'll help you out, and that way you won't get peer evaled. That way, if you ever need help in any moment, people will help you out. I remember another time we were sleeping and it was raining, and I didn't waterproof my bag correctly, and earlier we had crossed a river and all my stuff was wet. And so when it was my turn to sleep, they're like, you got 15 minutes to sleep, go. And remember I was shivering, all my stuff was wet, and the guys next to me grabbed some of their dry stuff, their whoopee, their blanket, put it on me so that I could catch a few minutes of sleep. I mean, that's guys looking out for each other, and it's going to help you. You help somebody, they're going to help you.
Tip number 5, don't quit.
Don't quit. This is, I think, the number one tip. Sounds easy, sounds good, but pretty basic. Don't quit. As long as you show up there and you're in enough shape to pass the physical steps that I've already outlined, and you've practiced a ruck march before, then you're going to be in enough physical shape to make it through if you don't quit. The better shape you are, the easier some of the stuff's going to be, but even the really big, stocky guys struggle in some areas. So don't quit. Seems pretty simple, but when you're out there and each day you've had limited sleep, limited food, and you're tired, you're missing home, and all you can think about is calling it quits, don't quit. When times are hard, you can't think of anything else, don't quit. Think of something to motivate her, whether it's your spouse that you don't want to disappoint, whether it's your parent that you don't want to let down, whether it's yourself that you're just going there to prove that you can do it. Don't quit. And if you can just keep that in your mind, then you're steps ahead from everybody, because a lot of the failures are people quitting, they're giving up, they're scared of what comes next. So be confident in yourself and your abilities that another day, another minute, I'm going to stay another hour, I'm going to stay another 2 days, and I'll rethink this, but don't quit, stay to the end. And try not to pay too much attention to the holdovers, to the recycles. I made it first time through, never recycled, and a lot of the holdovers, recycles, they'll try and tell you everything that's about to happen. Like, hey guys, next we're going to be doing this, tomorrow we're going to be doing this, and everybody's going to be like beating off them because they've already been there. Well, guess what? They recycled, they failed for a reason. So take those guys with a grain of salt. I mean, listen to what they have to say, sure, but just don't count on their every word, because a lot of the guys that we had recycled again, and were giving bad advice to people, or psyching things up too much and making people worry and making it seem harder than it was going to be. So when you're going through each phase, don't give the recycles too much credit, because they recycled for a reason. My extra bonus tip is practice land nav. the first physical test, 62% of the failures fail the physical aspect of it. So make sure you're in physical shape. But then the next day, the land nav, that is another killer. A lot of people get screwed in the land nav. So make sure you know how to look at a map and read a compass. Just basic stuff. Grid, learning how to read a grid on a map and using a compass. You're going to get a map, you're going to get a compass. One thing about the land nav is it's self-correcting. So what that means is if you go to a point that you don't think is yours, it's going to have a grid on it, and you can write it down and you can say, okay, I'm here. So then you can kind of go off that. And that's what I did. I kind of had to use other spots to kind of figure out where I was, and that's, you know, it just eats up more time, but that's not going to make you a failure. So you can use the other points to your advantage. Another thing with the physical aspect is with the push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups is practice ruck marching at least once, 10 miles as fast as you can. Get a backpack, put some weights in it. You know, I was trying to prep for it, and I put some dumbbells, a couple 25-pound dumbbells in a backpack, and just walk 10 miles as fast as you can. And so that way when you go to do that ruck march, it's 12 miles, I don't remember the exact time, but you just stay in front of the last guy, don't quit, walk as fast as you can, and you'll be alright. And I hope you guys liked my 5 tips, and enjoy the ducks.
Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and comment below if you have any other questions about Ranger School, and I'll do my best to answer.